lest we forget, you're also congressman of the 4th District of Pangasinan.
Yes.
Maybe we should talk about what are you doing for your district. And I think more interesting for me, having watched your dad in politics for a long time as Speaker of the House, I mean, what are your political plans for the future? Let's start with Pangasinan. What are you doing?
Okay, well, we actually just opened our exhibit. It's the Anak Banwa Creative Residency Exhibit. So we started a creative residency program last year. It was very successful. It was well received that we decided to do it again this year. So basically, we invite creatives from all over the Philippines to apply to the program. If you are selected, you get a grant. And then you get to live in Dagupan City for a month.
Oh, wow.
And explore the environment, get to know the local communities.
Immerse yourself, right?
Immerse yourself, get to know the local craftsmen, the local blacksmiths, the local creatives. And in your creative journey, then you are supposed to come up with like a culminating output, which will be showcased at the MacArthur House in West Central Elementary School in Dagupan City. And so this year we had 3 very exciting creatives that qualified for the residency program. One is Saiza Ragunhan. She's a Vogue artist. Do you know what Vogue is? It's a dance style.
Okay.
That's very famous with the LGBTQIA plus community.
Okay.
And so, so she's a Vogue artist. She's a movement artist, and she actually taught a lot of our stakeholders in the district the art of voguing. So it was so exciting.
Learn something new. I have to look up something after this program.
No, it was so exciting to see that in Dagupan.
I didn't realize there was such a thing. Okay.
Yeah, Vogue. She actually heads the Philippine chapter of the House of Mizrahi, which is a global voguing house.
Interesting.
And if you listen to the remix of Beyonce's "Break My Soul," she actually mentions House of Mizrahi. And so that's how renowned that global voguing house is. And it was such an honor to have the head of the Philippine chapter be part of this year's Anak Banwa. And then the second is Gabriel Brioso. He's an architect who also dabbles in augmented reality and virtual reality. Very exciting to see how he came up with metaverse creative explorations. And so if you go to the exhibit, there's a lot of QR codes that if you scan it, the artwork comes to life in your phone.
Right.
So very exciting. And then third is Nathan Artificio, who is an interior designer who is also a furniture designer. And so he worked with our local craftsmen, the rattan makers of Manawag, which is also under my district. I invite everyone to come. And
Very
also
famous.
with the blacksmiths in Mangaldan, another town in my district, where in fact, trivia, the weapons in the film Braveheart and Lord of the Rings were forged in Mangaldan.
Really?
Amazing.
Wow.
Not a lot of people know that.
I didn't know that. Yeah.
And so, so you have all of these amazing collaborations that are showcased in this exhibit. It's running Wednesdays to Sundays till November 6th. At the MacArthur House, again in Dagupan City. Over 50 plus artists are showcased there. So you have the 3 residents and 47 Pangasinenses.
Wow.
So they get to exhibit alongside these creatives and residents. And over 70 plus artworks, all curated quite beautifully in the exhibit. So there's that. Next year, February, we're going to be starting a new creative program.
Okay.
It's called the Galila Arts Festival. So Galila means come in Pangasinense.
Okay.
Tara na.
Okay.
Parang ganon. So this is going to be a multi-arts festival, of course in line with Arts Month, which is February. So I'll invite you, Klink,
Thank you,
and the NBTV family.
Thank you.
And it's going to be really exciting because we're going to see different creative tribes having their own programs as part of this 3-week to 1-month art festival.
So wait, let's talk about the benefit of all this. Have you been able to realize some of the dividends that you hope the country will enjoy in Pangasinan? I mean, were you able to talk to some people who said, this tide me over the pandemic? These projects that you're mentioning.
Oh yes.
Maybe you can share some of those anecdotes.
Yeah. No. I think the most exciting creative intervention, which is actually geared towards sporting, in particular
Okay.
bikers.
Okay.
We put up a bikers den
Okay.
in an upland barangay of San Fabian, which is another town in my district.
Okay.
In a very sort of rural, far upland community where the people don't really go there. Certainly, there's not a lot of economic activity there. But the terrain is very conducive towards biking, and the bikers had approached me years back asking if maybe we can provide some kind of facility for them to be able to rest or to change or hang out. And so definitely I was on board
Right.
from day one of them approaching me. But what we did was we tapped like the services of this award-winning architectural firm. And so the bikers then that came up was unlike anything that they had seen before. In fact, some
Interesting.
people, always call it world class, but I don't want to toot my own horn, so I'm not going to say world
Well,
class. But people have said that it's world class.
Well,
And
there
all of a sudden, that provided a lot of economic stimulus for this community that people never really visited before. And so cafes started coming up. There's this amazing cafe called Highlands Cafe in the Sky, which kind of reminds you of Bali. They have all of these rattan structures, and they also serve coffee and milk tea and all of these like breakfast meals. And when I was talking to the owners, something that really stuck with me. Sorry, did I tap my microphone?
That's
Anyway,
okay.
something that really stuck with me was that, of course, they were very thankful for the bikers then, because all of a sudden, more people were coming to this very obscure liblib. That's the word I was
Yeah.
going for. A liblib lugar.
Yeah.
People are starting to go. But then, the thing that they said was before, when they would get asked, "What barangay are you from?" and they would say, "We're from Barangay Lipit Tumaeng in San Fabian," and then they would say, "Ay, liblib." But then now, when they get asked, "Where are you from?"
People
it's
know.
like, "Oh, we're from Barangay Lipit Tumaeng," and they're like, and in Malug Sur, Lipit Tumaeng, it's like sort of like in the border, so
Right.
it's both. And then they say, "Oh, di ba dyan yung bikers din? Oh, di ba
Interesting.
dyan yung ano?
Interesting.
We wanna go." So all of a
So
sudden,
they were literally put on the map.
yeah,
because
parang
of this.
perceptions
Yeah.
are changing with regards to how creativity is able to really transform and regenerate and revitalize communities.
Well, so wait. So very interesting economic dividend here. What about the political dividend? You come from a very well-known family, being the son of longtime Speaker Joy de Venecia.
Yeah.
I'm almost embarrassed to realize earlier when we were talking, you were only 12 when he ran for president. That was with GMA's campaign helping your.
And I said, my
your
heart will go on. Yes, naabot ko yung Celine Dion highest note when I was 12.
So what's in your political future? I mean, are you? I mean, it seems like your heart is in the arts, right? But
Yes.
you've been able to find a way to merge your passion with policy work,
Yeah.
legislative work.
Yeah.
But where does politics fit into your future?
I don't know, Klink. I'm on my last term.
Okay.
Certainly, I have 3 more years till 2025 to be able to really carry out the creative agenda,
Okay.
to galvanize more government agencies to
Okay.
buy into the creative agenda, into our 2030 goal
Okay.
of being the #1 creative economy in ASEAN. So there's so much work that still needs to be done.
Do you even have time to think about politics at all, given
I
all of
don't.
the things on your plate?
I don't. I honestly don't.
Okay.
Because there's so much that needs to be done.
Okay.
And it's sort of like a racing against the clock because
Right.
it's also legacy time.
Right.
So you want to be able to carve out a more sustainable creative future for our present set of creatives, and actually think I'm more invested in the future creatives. And that's why I always say the future is creative. And what I mean by that really is the kids.
Okay.
When I was young, I had
When you say
dreams.
kids, I mean, I think you're referring to yourself because I'm much. I'm almost 20 years older than you are.
I thought you're a millennial,
No,
Klink.
thank you, by the way. Please come back on my show.
Thank you. No. What I'm saying is, when I was younger, I had all these dreams of being creative. But
Okay.
Of course, I got the talk
Right.
from my parents, and
Right.
I'm not blaming them or anything. I love
Right.
my parents
Right.
dearly.
Right.
But it's a talk that a lot of these like young creatives get from their parents na walang
Right.
pera sa arts.
Right.
Walang pera sa pagiging malikhain.
Right.
And that's precisely what I want to change. Because there is sustainability, there
Right.
is value,
And there's potential.
and there is potential in being a creative.
Right.
You know, you just need to be able to provide that enabling environment and framework for them to be able to thrive and show the Filipino people, 110 million of them, and also the rest of ASEAN and the whole world that, my gosh, Filipinos are so talented and creative. It's just time that we started putting our money where our heart is.
Okay.
And
Well,
that's why we need to support the creative sector.
Well, Congressman, very interesting discussion. I wish we had more time, but I think we're approaching the end of our program today.
Yeah.
But before we leave, maybe you'd like to give a final message to our audience?
Sure.
Sure.
Okay. I don't really know what to say as a final message. All I want to say is I really do believe in a creative future. And the creative future is upon us now, especially with the enactment of RA 11904, or the Philippine Creative Industries Development Act. But it doesn't stop there. We need to make sure that the law is implemented and funded on a year-to-year basis. We need to make sure that the KPIs of the law are being met, that more jobs are being created, that the regions and the countrysides are being developed in terms of their creative industries. That creativity is not just NCR or based in Imperial Manila, but you have more creative hubs that are popping up in different parts of the archipelago. We need to make sure that people are earning a sustainable living and not being exploited in the creative economy. We need to be able to generate more intellectual property so that we can lead towards an IP ecology. And what does that mean really? Just think Marvel Cinematic Universe. It started from a comic book. Now it's like a full-on franchise of films and theme parks and merchandise. Our Filipino intellectual property also has that potential. We just need to provide an avenue and a platform for creatives to come together and to also get support from the government. So I'm very, very much invested in helping realize this creative future. But obviously, government cannot do it on their own. They need the support of the private sector. We don't need just a whole of government approach to creativity. We need a whole of society approach to creativity. And so I invite you all to get to know the law better by Googling it. It's RA 11904. See what kind of support services and benefits you can derive and demand and hold your government into account so that your business operations are supported. And let's work together to ensure a more sustainable, creative, and happy future, if not for this generation of creatives, then for the future generation.
Well, Congressman, with your success, hopefully we'll be able to retire that old notion of a starving artist in the future.
Yes.
So I'd like to thank everyone watching the show, watching it live, and those watching the replay on social media. I'd like to thank Pastor Apollo Kibuloy for making this program possible. This has been Business and Politics. I'm Dante Klink Ang, and I'll see you next week.